The administration of President Donald Trump officially implemented a series of new tariffs, sending shockwaves through global markets. Specifically, import tariffs on goods from China were raised to 145%, while products from many other countries now face a general tariff of 10%. This is a tough move in U.S. trade policy, aimed at boosting domestic production and reducing reliance on imported goods. However, the immediate consequence is a sharp increase in import costs, leading to rapidly rising prices for goods in the domestic market. American consumers, particularly middle-income households, will face greater financial pressure in the near future. Therefore, proactively stocking up on essential items now could help mitigate some of the negative impacts from upcoming price hikes or potential shortages in the market. Comment with the number 1 if you're interested in this topic, and don't forget to subscribe and like to support us. Number 10. Coffee. One common habit among many adults is starting the morning with a cup of coffee, either brewed at home or purchased from a nearby cafe. Coffee helps them stay alert, provides energy for the day, or simply lifts their mood when feeling tired. The majority of coffee consumed in the U.S. is imported from Colombia and Brazil. Previously, the Trump administration considered imposing tariffs of up to 25% on coffee. Now, with the general increase in import tariffs, some coffee businesses have already raised their prices. In the future, tariffs may continue to rise. Therefore, if you're a coffee enthusiast, especially if you buy coffee at supermarkets, consider purchasing larger quantities in advance. If you frequently buy coffee at local cafes, be prepared for a slight price increase in the near future. Number 9. Chocolate. Besides coffee, another heavily affected product is chocolate. Personally, I love chocolate. Chocolate bars, chocolate cakes, chocolate candies, and even chocolate cheesecake. In winter, I particularly enjoy hot cocoa, sometimes even choosing it over coffee to savor a warm cup of chocolate. However, in April 2025, the U.S. government imposed a series of tariffs on chocolate and cocoa products. Specifically, a baseline tariff of 10% applies to most imported goods, 20% on chocolate from the European Union, 31% on candies from Switzerland, and 21% on cocoa from Ivory Coast, the world's largest cocoa producer. As a result, if you regularly use chocolate or cocoa in desserts, now is a good time to stock up at home. Number 8. Rice. Another essential product, indispensable in the daily meals of many families, that should be carefully considered is rice. In the U.S., rice is primarily imported from Asian countries, particularly China, India, Thailand, Pakistan, and Vietnam. These sources have, for many years, helped keep rice prices in the U.S. stable. However, the current situation is shifting in a less favorable direction. Starting in April 2025, rice imported from Thailand faces a new tariff of 36%, while rice from China and India is subject to an even higher tariff of up to 245%. This is an enormous figure, nearly doubling the cost of the goods, making rice imports from these two most populous countries in the world extremely difficult and expensive. Such high tariffs are intended to protect domestic agriculture, but they also place significant pressure on the food supply chain in the U.S. With limited access to affordable rice from Asia, domestic rice prices are certain to surge in the near future. Consumers, especially middle and low-income families, will be the ones most heavily impacted. For businesses in the food industry, this also presents a challenging problem, requiring adjustments in costs, ingredients, and operational strategies amid escalating rice prices. Number 7. Cheese. Furthermore, cheese is also on the list of products affected by tariffs. The U.S. government has imposed a 20% tariff on cheese imported from European Union countries, including popular varieties such as Parmesan, Reggiano, Brie, and Gouda. The European cheese industry is concerned about losing market share in the U.S., which could lead to higher prices for consumers. In addition to Europe, the U.S. imports cheese from Canada and Mexico. Both countries are currently facing a 25% tariff on dairy products, including cheese. In summary, if you regularly use products like coffee, chocolate, rice, and cheese, it's advisable to stock up early before prices rise further or supplies become scarce. Many types of cheese are included on the list affected by the new tariff policy, within the framework of a dairy trade worth approximately $1.2 billion annually between the U.S. and its neighboring countries. These tariffs are expected to significantly increase the cost of cheese imported from Canada and Mexico. Some retail chains, such as Albertsons, are attempting to keep prices stable by negotiating with suppliers to absorb the additional costs. However, this approach cannot be sustained indefinitely, and consumers are likely to face higher prices, especially for premium cheese varieties. At the same time, domestic producers may also adjust their prices to capitalize on the reduced competitiveness of imported goods. Number 6. Wine. One of the products at significant risk of price increases in the near future is wine. This is a product favored by many U.S. consumers, not only for its distinctive taste, but also for the cultural and emotional value it brings during holidays, special events, or simply cozy family dinners. For many years, the U.S. wine market has largely relied on imports from renowned countries such as France, Italy, and Spain, key members of the European Union, as well as South Africa, Australia, and China. However, amid trade tensions and adjustments in tariff policies, the U.S. government has decided to raise import tariffs on wine from these markets. This change has led to a series of cost-related consequences. Beyond the increased tariffs, importers are also facing rising international shipping costs, storage expenses at major ports, and various customs fees. As total input costs escalate, distributors and retailers are forced to adjust retail prices to maintain profitability, causing the price of each bottle of wine reaching consumers to rise significantly compared to before. In this context, if you are a wine enthusiast frequently using this product for entertaining guests, gifting, or simply enjoying on weekends, proactively stocking up now is a strategic move. Current prices are still far more stable than the projected prices in the near future. Purchasing a reasonable quantity in advance can not only save you significant costs, but also ensure quality and supply, especially during peak times like year-end holidays. Comment with the number 6 if you've ever purchased a favorite bottle of wine right when prices increased and regretted not buying earlier. You'll understand why preparing now is so important. Number 5. Cooking oil. Cooking oil is an essential and indispensable ingredient in any kitchen, from small households to restaurants and large-scale catering operations. Whether for frying, sautéing, making salads, or baking, cooking oil always plays a central role in food preparation. Personally, I regularly use various types of oil, such as olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, and vegetable oil, depending on the nutritional needs and culinary style of each dish. However, amid significant global market fluctuations, the cooking oil industry is not immune to the impact of the new tariff policies. The U.S. currently imports a large amount of cooking oil from countries such as Canada, Spain, Indonesia, and Malaysia. Olive oil primarily comes from Europe, coconut oil from Southeast Asia, and vegetable oil mostly from North American partners. With rising import tariffs and global supply chain instability, such as port congestion, soaring maritime shipping costs, or export control measures by some major producing countries, the price of cooking oil is very likely to surge in the near future. This is especially true for high-value oils like extra virgin olive oil or specialty oils like avocado oil, which already have higher prices than standard products. If you frequently cook at home or manage a food service business, now is an opportune time to consider purchasing a certain amount of cooking oil at current prices, which have not yet been heavily impacted. Proactively securing your supply of ingredients can help you save costs when prices fluctuate and ensure the consistent quality of your daily meals without disruptions due to shortages or the need to switch ingredients abruptly. Of course, when stocking up, you should also pay attention to the shelf life and storage conditions of each type of oil to ensure safety and optimal use. Number 4. Spices. Another group of products that cannot be overlooked is spices. Spices enhance the flavor of dishes, and many types can be grown at home, dried, and stored for long-term use. However, if you purchase spices from stores, note that the majority of spices in the U.S. are imported from countries such as India, China, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Mexico. Specifically, India supplies black pepper, turmeric, and chili powder. China exports star anise, Sichuan pepper, and garlic powder, ingredients I frequently use. Vietnam is renowned for cinnamon and black pepper. Indonesia provides nutmeg, cloves, and cumin. Meanwhile, Mexico contributes vanilla, oregano, and chili powder, essentials for baking or cooking spaghetti. These spices are all at risk of price increases due to the recently enacted tariffs. Moreover, not only food items but also canned goods in the U.S. are facing price pressure, as steel and aluminum, materials used for cans, are now subject to a tariff of up to 25%. In summary, if you regularly use the products mentioned above, now is the time to consider stocking up before prices shift unfavorably for consumers. Number 3. Steel and aluminum. Currently, about 70% of the steel used in can production in the U.S. is imported. The new tariffs have significantly increased production costs for food processing companies, thereby driving up the prices of canned goods. For those who, like me, frequently buy canned foods such as beans, corn, green beans, or carrots, this will undoubtedly have a noticeable impact on daily household expenses. According to industry analysis, these tariffs could cause the price of each can of food to rise by up to 30%, equivalent to approximately 58 cents per product. In reality, some items may see even higher increases depending on the brand and origin of the imports. The new tariffs affect not only canned foods but also products using steel and aluminum packaging, including beverages, certain dairy products, and other consumer goods. Whether to stock up on these items depends on how frequently you use them in your daily meals. Number 2. Vanilla. A clear example of the direct impact of tariffs on commodity prices is vanilla. Currently, the U.S. is imposing an import tariff of up to 47% on vanilla, originating from Madagascar, the country that supplies over 80% of the world's natural vanilla. This extremely high tariff has led to a significant increase in the cost of vanilla-containing products. Vanilla is not only a premium spice but also an essential ingredient in the production of confectionery, ice cream, desserts, and various other food recipes. Bakeries, ice cream shops, restaurants, and food manufacturers are facing a sharp rise in input costs. Ultimately, these costs will be passed on to consumers through higher retail prices. Not only vanilla extract, but also whole vanilla beans, vanilla powder, and products with natural vanilla flavoring are likely to see significant price increases in the near future. If you frequently cook, bake at home, or run a small food business, consider stocking up on vanilla now while prices are still relatively affordable. Additionally, to mitigate cost impacts, you could explore using synthetic vanilla flavors or domestically sourced alternatives, though their quality and taste may not be entirely comparable. Number 1. Maple syrup. For many food enthusiasts like myself, breakfast would not be complete without a drizzle of maple syrup on pancakes or waffles. However, maple syrup, a famous specialty from Canada, is now facing new import tariffs imposed by the U.S. Starting in March 2025, the U.S. government applied a 25% tariff on all goods imported from Canada, including maple syrup. This means the retail price of this syrup at supermarkets, grocery stores, and e-commerce platforms in the U.S. will rise noticeably. With rising import costs, American consumers will soon feel the change in prices. This is a signal that if you love maple syrup and regularly use it in daily meals or for baking, stocking up now is advisable. Purchasing in bulk can not only save you money in the long run, but also ensure you always have your favorite syrup in your kitchen. Additionally, if prices rise too high, you might consider alternatives such as agave syrup, pure honey, or rice syrup, which are less affected by current tariff policies. However, for many, including myself, the distinctive flavor and natural consistency of maple syrup remain the top choice. Therefore, proactively preparing now is the best way to cope with the fluctuations caused by these tariff policies. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.